Today we're going to be checking out and testing out a brand new NVMe enclosure by SHARGE. This is the Disk Plus, and I guarantee you that you have never seen an NVMe enclosure quite like this. Now I do want to thank SHARGE for sending this out to me so I could do this review for you guys today. But everything I'm going to be showing you and saying in this review are my own words and opinions. And if you guys do want to pick any of this up yourself, I will also be putting product links in the video description. This NVMe enclosure is one of the thinnest enclosures that I have ever seen. It only comes in at 0.24 inches, and that's about 3 coins stacked tall. It can transfer up to 10 gigabits per second read and write. It uses USB Type 3 3.2 Gen 2. And one of the very unique features of this NVMe enclosure is the fact that it has pass-through power. Now, typically with any other NVMe drive you're going to find out there, you have to decide whether you want to charge your device or you want to have your device connected to your drive. But with the SHARGE Disk Plus, you don't have to decide anymore because it has 85 watts of pass-through power, so you can access your data and charge your device all at the same time. It also has a built-in USB Type-C cable that sits flush with the drive, so you never have to hunt down a cable again. It also supports up to a 4 terabyte NVMe and uses form factors 2230, 2242, and 2280. And if that wasn't enough, this also has a couple other accessories that actually let you magnetically connect it to pretty much any device possible, and I'll show you how to do that in just a few minutes. But first, let's see what you get inside the box. So here is the drive itself. As you can see, it is super thin. Like I mentioned before, this is the thinnest NVMe enclosure that I have ever seen or reviewed. Unlike some of the other NVMe drives that I've recently reviewed, you can see how thin this actually is. This is probably double the size of the SHARGE Disk Plus. That is insane. So you can almost put this inside your wallet and just carry it around like that. So as you can see here, we've got the USB Type-C for our power, and the other side here is the USB Type-C for data. Again, like I mentioned before, it also has its built-in USB Type-C cable that will always stay with the drive, so you can connect it up to whatever your device you have without having to worry about hunting down a cable. That's pretty cool too. The enclosure is made of all aluminum, feels really nice. It does feel nice and solid, it does not feel cheap at all. Let's see what else we get inside the box here. Get some manuals. We get a screwdriver. We get some extra screws. Here we have our thermal pad. And we also get a little leather pouch that you can put your drive in to kind of carry it around. This has a kind of soft lining to it. Let's see if it actually fits. Yes, it does. So you just kind of push this down, and now your drive is protected. That's pretty cool. Now, to test out the NVMe drive, I'm going to be using a Western Digital SN770 NVMe. This is capable of doing 5,150 megabytes a second. So if there's going to be a bottleneck, it's not going to be with the drive. In case you're wondering, the form factor for this NVMe is the 2280. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to take out the screws using the included screwdriver. Then the bottom of the drive should just come out by itself. If it doesn't, you just need to take out this the little piece here, your USB Type-C, and then you can kind of push out the inside of the bottom if it doesn't just fall apart by itself. Then we need to remove the screw here that's going to hold your NVMe drive in, and unfortunately it's a Phillips head and not the same star bit that comes with the drive itself. So then just take your NVMe drive, we'll put it inside the enclosure. Just press it into place. Then we'll put that screw back into the enclosure. You don't have to tighten it down really hard, just make sure that it's holding down the NVMe drive. Then you're going to take your thermal pad. Don't mind this, it was whole. I just cut a little piece out, but if you take off the back blue portion, you'll see that it's already cut in half for the size NVMe drive that we're going to be using here today. So we'll just peel that off. And we'll just place that down over our drive. Once your drive is in place, you can take the back cover. Again, you want to make sure that the little holes are going towards the holes on the drive, and then just make sure the little tabs on the inside here go in first into the drive and then drop down the other side with the screws. Just press that into place. We'll put our screws back in. And you're all set. Now I will be testing this out on my Mac and my Windows just to give you an idea of how it performs on both operating systems. Alright, so for this test, I'm going to be plugging in my SHARGE Disc Plus into my gaming PC's USB Type-C port. Alright, so you can see that the SHARGE Disc Plus just showed up on my Windows PC. And just to show you that it is formatted in NTFS. There's also nothing on the drive, so we're testing it completely empty, and we're going to be testing it with the crystal disk mark. So here I have it set to our drive, and we'll start the full test suite. So as you can see, for the read on the Windows PC, it's actually a little higher than it was on the Mac. We're getting 1055 megabytes a second, and for the write, it's around the same as the Mac as well. We're getting 835. So it's a little bit less than advertised for the write. So now we're going to transfer a 6.4 gigabyte file onto the Disc Plus, and we'll see how long that takes. It should only be about 5 seconds. Yeah, so it was about 5 seconds. That's pretty quick. Now we're going to delete it off my computer, and we're going to transfer it from the drive onto the computer's NVMe. And as you can see, that went super quick. It was like maybe 1 second. So it does seem to have a little bit better performance on the Windows PC. And the USB Type-C port that I'm using on my Windows PC is capable of doing 10 gigabits per second, just like the drive. All right, so the first performance test we're going to do is on my Mac Studio. This is the Mac Studio with the M1 Ultra chip, and here we have our Disc Plus. We're going to plug it into the front of the Studio. And as you can see, it just loaded the Disc Plus. And as you can see, there is nothing inside the drive. And I just want to show you that it is formatted for Mac. So if we go down here to our Disc Plus, you can see that it is formatted in the APFS volume. So first we're going to start off with the Blackmagic Design Disk Speed Test. We'll select our drive. And then we'll run the test. So as you can see, for the write, we're hitting about 929 megabytes a second. There we have an 876 and a 944. So it is a little bit less than the 10 gigabits per second that SHARGE has stated that this disk can do. But it's fairly close. And then for the read, we're getting about 894, which again is about 110 megabytes less than what SHARGE stated for the read, which is 10 gigabits per second. But again, it's fairly close. So if you have a Mac Studio with the M1 Ultra chip in it, this is the performance you can pretty much expect. So we'll stop the speed test, and now I'm going to transfer a 20.52 gigabyte file onto the drive. and we'll see how long that takes. As you can see, it says it's going to take less than a minute, and it's moving pretty quickly. So I'd probably say about 10 to 15 seconds to transfer a 20 gigabyte file, which is pretty good. Now I'm going to delete this off my drive, and we're going to move it back onto the Mac Studio, and we'll see how long that takes. It should be a little less time. Again, less than a minute. And it seems to be taking about around the same time as when we transferred it onto the drive itself. Now, like I mentioned before, you can also magnetically connect this up to pretty much any device you have, whether it be your iPhone or your iPad, because SHARGE also sells this magnetic pad here with a couple of these rings that you can put on any device that doesn't have any magnets built in. And you can also buy this charging cable, because the cable that comes on the SHARGE Disc Plus really doesn't conform or twist very easily, so that's why they sell this charging cable that you can easily use with other devices. So here is that charging cable. As you can see, it's a little bit longer than the one that comes with the Disc Plus, and you can easily twist it in ways that you might not be able to use the one that comes with the Disc Plus. So you can probably use this with your iPhone, iPad, things like that. And then here we have the magnetic pad that again comes with a couple metal rings that you can use with other devices that don't have any metal or MagSafe built in. And then here we have the pad itself. It does have some 3M adhesive on the back that we are going to use to stick to the back of the Disc Plus. And like I mentioned, it is magnetic and it clips right on to the back of your iPhone just like that, or other devices. So if you're going to stick this pad onto the back of your Disc Plus, the first thing you're going to want to do is to thoroughly clean off the back of the Disc Plus with an alcohol wipe. Make sure you get rid of any of the dirt, dust, oils, so the sticky pad can stick to the Disc Plus the best that it can. And just dry it off. So the pad really only goes one way, so you can't really mess this up. All you need to do is line up the little cutout here with the cutout on your Disc Plus, and you want to make sure that this doesn't really go past the bottom of your Disc Plus either. So we'll peel back the adhesive pad. As you can see, the MagSafe ring on the back there. And then we'll place this over our Disc Plus. Then once you have it where you want it, just press down on the pad. Make sure you stick down all the area of the little magnetic pad. And you're all set. As you can see, it really doesn't add much extra thickness to the Disc Plus. It's still pretty thin. Then we'll plug this into the bottom of our iPhone, and we'll just fold this back on itself, and it'll clip right onto the back of your phone. As you can see, it is pretty slim. And then if we go into our phone, we'll go into our files. You can see that the SHARGE Disc Plus shows up. So now you can use the drive to transfer photos onto it, or you can use it to watch videos, and you can also use the camera to record ProRes video right onto the drive itself. If we go into our camera, you can see that the ProRes is on, and we have about 359 minutes left to record directly onto the drive, and you know that it's going to do that because you can see it's connected to the USB Type-C on the bottom. It also has a really nice strong hold on the phone as well, so you don't have to worry about the Disc Plus just falling off your phone. And as I mentioned before, you can also charge your device while the Disc Plus is connected to it. So here I'll plug in my power adapter into the bottom of the Disc Plus, and you'll see the iPhone start to charge. And there you go. And to show you that it is still connected, we'll go into our files again. And you can see that the Disc Plus is still showing up. So now not only can you use the Disc Plus You can also use it while you're charging your device. And as I mentioned before, you can also connect the SHARGE Disc Plus up to devices that don't have MagSafe built in, such as my iPad Air, with the use of this metal ring. So all you need to do is take one of your metal rings here. I'll clip it onto the back of the SHARGE Disc Plus, and then we'll plug this into our iPad, and then just place this where you want it. We'll press down, and now your iPad has something for the Charge to connect to. And it stays in place like I mentioned before, just like on the iPhone itself. Then if we go into our files, you can see that the SHARGE Disc Plus has showed up. So if we have any pictures or videos or anything like that, we can watch them from the disk drive instead of using our iPad's minimum storage, because my iPad Air only has 64 gigabytes, which is pretty much already taken up. So this will extend up to 4 terabytes. And it's also capable of charging up larger devices like my MacBook Pro 16-inch here. So here I have the SHARGE Disc Plus connected to my MacBook using the built-in USB Type-C cable, and we're going to be using the other USB Type-C cable to pass through charge. And I'm going to be using a battery that actually shows you that it's charging. Now my MacBook is almost charged, so it's not going to show you the full 85 watts that the Disc Plus is capable of doing, but as you can see, it's using about 46 watts right now. But both of these cables, as well as the Disc Plus, are capable of charging your MacBook with the full 85 watts. Now, after all that testing, would I recommend the SHARGE Disc Plus? And the answer definitely has to be a yes, and let me tell you why. Even though in my performance testing we saw slightly less than 10 gigabits per second read and write speeds, I think that's a very small trade-off for what this has to offer. Not only is it one of the slimmest NVMe enclosures that I've ever seen, it also comes with a built-in USB Type-C cable, so you never have to carry one around with you again, and the biggest feature is that pass-through charging. So no longer do you have to decide whether you want to use your enclosure or charge up your device. You can do both with this. One other thing that I ran into with this enclosure when I was doing my testing was the heat dissipation. Anytime after I did my testing, I felt the drive and it was only warm, never did it get hot. Now that's not to say that it will get hot, but during the testing that you saw me do, it never got hot, it was only warm. So what did you guys think about the Disc Plus? What is your favorite feature about it? Let me know in the comments below. And again, if you guys want to pick this up, I will be putting product links in the video description. And if you guys enjoyed the video, it would really help out the channel if you gave me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.